Welcome to another edition of Entrepreneurs and Fuego. We document your journey, one digital footprint at a time. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You look nervous, man. Relax.
I am.
Hey, why are you so nervous?
Because I've never had a mic before hooked
There
to
you
my
go.
shirt. So.
Kindra Deneau.
Yes.
That's French, yes?
Yes.
That's so obvious. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
I run and started the Deneau law firm 7 years ago, and I mainly do commercial law and
Were
real
you a
estate
teenager
law.
when you started this thing? What happened? You look like you're 17. Dude.
You're making my day. No, no, I'm not. I've been practicing 10 years now, but 7 years ago,
Right.
I broke out on my own and do real estate law and commercial law mainly, both on the transactional, like contract writing side, and also in the fun courts and arbitrations and litigation side as well.
So before you started your own law firm, what did you do?
I worked at 2 other law firms. I actually worked at a business law firm prior to starting law school, so I was at that firm before, during, and after law school, and then I worked at one other firm as well for a while.
So what sparked that change of, well, not careers, but just you were at corporate law, probably a very good job and probably with a phenomenal future and everything else, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I'm going to start my own thing. And that's the essence of entrepreneurship. I mean, what sparked that?
A few things. One, my husband had started a vending business that we had run out of our house while I was in law school with roommates. And so I had kind of gotten to experience what that was like to kind of start something on your own and be able to take ownership of it. And I had to sometimes run to accounts or go pick up the employee if the truck broke down, or
Right.
but just kind of having that pride of business ownership.
Right.
So I enjoyed that experience, and then I think I also just wanted to have more freedom in my own life, and also to be able to choose how I help clients in a way that I feel is in their best interests.
It is interesting, though. I mean, you say freedom, but that freedom comes with a cost, right? I mean, it is not freedom as a lot of the younger entrepreneurs that are coming into the business world envision it, right? I mean, freedom for a lot of entrepreneurs means, hey, I'm going to get out from school, or I'm going to start my business, and in about a couple of weeks, I'm going to have my Ferrari parked right outside, right? But it's not that way.
I wish, no. I mean, I constantly am reinvesting in my business, in my employees. I feel like my employees are the most important thing as far as making sure the clients get the best services, and so investing in them and the talent that they have, and in myself as well. That's the most important investment of all. And maybe I won't ever get a Ferrari. That'll be okay. I'm okay with that.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
But take me to that moment where you decided there must have been something that triggered it, right? I mean, you were probably with a huge pile of paperwork in your office, and you said, you know what? No, I'm going to give my notice. I'm going to strike on my own. Take me to that moment.
I was disenchanted, yes. I was getting, the hardest cases, not really getting enough credit for what I was accomplishing in those cases. And I even had clients say to me, you should be on your own. You should have your own law firm. And, these are well-established business owners that just, I hope anyway, saw something. And that helped me have more confidence, I think, to say, well, I have to leave at least. I was so unhappy. I was either going to not be a lawyer anymore, or I was going to continue and do it on my own somehow. And I know what the moment was. The moment was when we had a neighbor who had this hippie car who was constantly repainting it and stuff. And this is in North Tempe. This is the house where we had all the roommates, and we had the employees in and out with the vending business. And I was just talking to him randomly when I got out of the car in the carport one day, and I told him that I was quitting my job and everything. And he just looked at me and he said, well, that's just too bad. You're a Pisces sign, aren't you? And I said, well, yeah, I am. How do you know that? and he goes, well, but you're a sensitive person. And he's like, we need more lawyers that are more sensitive like you. And yeah, that kind of stuck with me. Like, maybe he has something to that, and maybe there's a way I can build up more armor, through just experience if I just keep at it.
But there's more than just the dissatisfaction of being in an environment that you are just completely fed up with and dislike. There is the fear, of course, of opening up your own business, but there's also that excitement and that passion.
Yes.
What fuels that passion?
I definitely have always been a proponent of justice. I mean, I was that kid growing up, even back in elementary school, where if there was a bully bullying somebody, I was the person, regardless of how much bigger they were than me, who would stand up for that
Did
kid
anybody
that was
say
being
back then,
bullied.
hey, you're going to be an attorney one day?
No one ever said that, but I just would get feisty and get myself in the middle of things that I really didn't need to be involving myself in. And I found I couldn't help myself. Like, I just have this innate, strong desire to help, effectuate justice for other people and help,
So what happens when the justice that you want for your client is not achieved? Because surely, I mean, the law is the law, and sometimes you win some and you lose some. How does that
That's
affect
true.
you? And
That's
how do you
true.
deal with those losses?
Well, and sometimes it's a matter of perspective because, the 100% win versus 100% lose, I mean, rarely happens.
Right.
And so early on, when representing a client, I try to make sure they understand that, that day where everything works out perfectly is just not realistic, because litigation's messy and the outcomes, the other side's going to tend to win on some points and you're going to win on others, and nobody comes out, scathingly perfect as, undriven snow. But I try to help them talk through it. I try to help them find ways to, I have one client in particular I'm thinking of right now that I'm like, you need to write a book. I mean, this person had such a dramatic experience, and yes, we had some really tremendous wins, but we also had some tremendous losses. And I think, that he has a story to tell. And so I've been encouraging him to tell that story.
Right.
So that's another way that I've tried to handle it.
Balancing your professional life with your personal life. How do you do that? I mean, surely you go home and your husband, when he gets home, is certainly not expecting, honey, where's my dinner, right?
No, I have a fabulous Canadian husband who's very liberal, very liberal-minded, very supportive, and
How do you strike a balance?
I mean, there never is a perfect balance. I keep promising myself I'm going to go do hot yoga at 5:30 a.m. and it just never happens.
Right.
I just there's never that perfect balance, but I just try to take it one day at a time and just what are my major goals today for both family and for work and my employees and what have you, and you can only do the best that you can. And I find that as long as you don't allow fear to hold you back, and you just keep taking those baby steps every day, you're going to eventually get where you need to go, even if it's not the perfect path you were hoping for. I mean, you'll get there.
So it is hope, essentially, that you deal with your failures, and the idea that just dust yourself off and tomorrow's another day.
That's exactly right. Yes. I mean, you have to approach it optimistically and believe that, people at the end of the day want justice and, want good people to be able to have, their justice and be able to recover from bad things that happen to them that shouldn't have happened. So
You're one of the good guys.
I hope so, yes. I consider myself to be, but I'm sure not every opposing attorney would agree with that.
Obviously.
No.
But here's the thing. What strikes me about you is that you realized at some point that you didn't want to be in that corporate environment, and you just took flight. What was your biggest fear at that time? I mean, or did you think in terms of fear? Did you think in terms of, I don't care what happens, I just know that this is the right move for me?
My biggest fear was continuing to live the life I was living. So I felt compelled. I felt just compelled to get out of the miserable, way that I was living and working so many hours. I was sick constantly and becoming immune to antibiotics. And I felt that I was so exhausted and sick and doing so many cases and things at once that I felt like I couldn't even serve the clients well either. So I wasn't serving myself well, I wasn't serving the clients well, and I certainly wasn't seeing my husband very much or my friends. So it just, none of it felt right. So that kind of overshadowed any fears I had with starting my own business.
So when looking at this interview 3 years from now, 5 years from now,
Okay.
where do you want to be? And you're going to go back and see that there's a lot of entrepreneurs, there's a lot of people that are going to go and see Kindra Deneau today and go, you know, I can be like her, because I am stuck in that corporate thing, and I just want to break through, and I just need that little motivation just to get it out of here. Now, 3-5 years from now, where do you want to be? And what advice would you give somebody that is coming through the ranks right now?
I hope at that point to, not only have, more attorneys working with me. Right now I just have a part-time attorney working with me. I also hope to have at least one business partner. I don't think that, frankly, all the men out there, I mean, they partner for a reason. I mean, they become more powerful with, joining forces. And so I really would like to, find the right person or persons and keep going in the direction I'm going, and hopefully find people of, like minds and goals, and be able to, help more people that way, across the board. And right now I'm only one person, so I can only reach out so much.
Is that your biggest challenge right now?
Yes.
Being just one?
Yes.
And try to manage the time and the growth?
Yes.
And clients?
Yes.
Is that your pain?
That is my biggest pain, yes. Yes.
Well, look, you're a remarkable person, and I appreciate your story, because, again, it's about not only having taken that step that you took some years ago in being on your own, but also, what do I do now? It's a journey. We're documenting journeys. We're documenting. It doesn't end today with this interview.
No.
It just continues, man.
It's evolving constantly, and I can't have a fixed idea of what any day or any week is going to necessarily be, because emergencies pop up, or cases don't go as you maybe had planned, or clients have something they need done now, and you just don't know how things are going to be from day to day. So you just have to keep plugging away, and one day at a time.
Best advice you got?
Best advice: to be careful with your finances, to be very, very careful with your finances, because just there's a lot of freedom that comes in managing your money economically. And the whole reason that these big companies have you is all about the money.
And best advice you're going to give Mary Jane Smith, who is watching this interview right now and wants to be an attorney and is not sure?
I don't think any woman should have to try to fit themselves in the mold of these big male corporate law firms. I feel like everyone's like, oh, we've got to prove ourselves. We have to make partner. We have to, kill ourselves and stumble over ourselves to do it and be miserable. And I don't believe that. I believe that everybody deserves to live a better life than that, including the men. And there is a better way, and if it means striking out on your own, or if it means finding a law firm like mine and working with someone like me that thinks a little more outside the box and isn't so rigid, then go for it. And I think that more opportunities are going to keep arising that are more flexible like that over time. And you don't have to be stuck in what these other people are telling you is the way it has to be.
You're remarkable, man.
Oh,
and for that, I'll tell you what, we're going to give you a little brown bag, and it's got little gifts inside.
Okay.
And it's because here's what I'm thinking. It's a 30-day membership here at the Office Pod, which is the first culturally diverse co-working space in the United States. It's ranked number 5 in the nation. And so you can come in and work, and if you're not going to use it, you can just give it to somebody to use it. But there's another gift in there, and that's a free seminar that you can give here at the Office Pile. What you're doing, educating other people, showing other women that they can become somebody like yourself, not to be fearful, not to be in that environment, as you described, this male-dominated, corporate environment where you're going to kill yourself for somebody else. I think that's important. That's a great message to give. And I would love for you to come back
Thank
and
you.
give a seminar and just get a bunch of people over here and just tell them your story like that.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
You're going to come back?
I would love to.
You're remarkable, man.
Thank you for helping me through this first taping I've never done before.
You forgot that you forgot that there was an interview. I mean, we're just talking. This is amongst friends.
Yeah, no, you're very good.
You're remarkable. We're out.